In our first session, we talked about the power and the importance of understanding why you've decided to have this business in the first place and why now is the right time for that business. Today, we're going to get into what drives that business forward. Now that we know the why, we need to figure out what's at the root of it so that in everything you are doing, all the decisions that you're making for your business align with your North Star. In a doctor's office for a well known medical provider, you'll likely see a mission statement or 4 to 5 words. These words are the brand values. And the thing that big companies understand is that a brand, the success of a brand, is how you make people feel. It's the perception that people have of you. And the reason why they have these values posted up in all of the rooms is because when you're in a big corporation or in a big company, it's really hard to create that cohesion across all the different types of people that are going to be in that ecosystem of that business. So they place these values up on the wall as a reminder to the providers that this is what we stand for, and as a reminder to their patients that this is what we stand for. As a small business owner, you might not think that you need to have those values outlined because it's just you. But what I'm here to tell you is that you are wrong. Your values can actually be so much stronger, so much more impactful on your business than you think. And today, we're going to talk about how to identify what those values are so that when you're making decisions that align with the best interest of your business. Welcome to the Heart Aligned Brand Podcast. I'm Leanne, your host, brand photographer, strategist, and mentor. And this is a space where personal stories and brand insights come together to help you build a brand based on your truth. Whether you're navigating a rebrand, finding your voice, or just trying to hold on to who you are through the chaos of entrepreneurship, this show is for you. Your brand isn't just what it looks like, it's how you make people feel and the person you are becoming in the process. Each week, I'm sharing honest reflections, brand building insights, and conversations that remind you you don't have to choose between brand strategy and staying true to yourself. So let's get into one of the most misunderstood parts of building a heart aligned brand I see across the board when it comes to small businesses. It's the misunderstanding on how important brand values are to the foundation of your business. Just like a compass points north, your brand values guide every decision and action you take in your business. But when I ask small business owners what their values are, in a lot of instances, there are 2 different scenarios that play out. The first is they take a second to think about it and they rattle off a few different words, in some instances, upwards of 10 words. And there's a major disconnect between what they're saying and how they're showing up online and in person. In this instance, their brand may feel performative or really disconnected. In other instances, there are small business owners who do know what their values are. But when you press to say, what does this actually look like in your business? There is hesitancy because they haven't really gotten clear on how that value shows up and acts in their business. Our values are not something that we want to overlook when we want clarity and confidence in how our business is showing up in the world. So let's talk about one of my most favorite brand value words that you hear everywhere right now. And I find myself getting insanely frustrated when I hear mega business leaders, influencers talking about what a brand needs in order to see success. And it's the word authenticity. It's one of the most overused brand values, and it's one that almost no one seems to be able to define. Being authentic is way easier said than done. And the reason is that authenticity actually looks and feels different for everyone. What does authenticity look and feel like for you when it comes to your brand? How do you want to show up with authenticity? The way that you show up with authenticity is going to look different from another person. And here we really want to get clear on how it takes shape in your business. Seth Godin likes to say that authenticity isn't about being real. It's actually about doing what you say you're going to do. Let's talk about another word that I hear a lot, and it's innovative. We value innovation. We are innovative. But what does that actually mean? A client of mine told me that her brand value was innovation. And when I asked her, what does that mean? How does that show up in her work? She didn't really have the words to explain what it was about her work that was innovated. So, as we were doing some digging, what we discovered was that the innovative part of her process was actually the way that she was approaching problems for her clients. She wasn't just approaching problems for her clients in a standard way, she was going deep. She was getting personal and she was coming up with creative solutions. Once we were able to clearly identify what it was that was driving the word innovation, her messaging instantly became more effective. And it was easier for the right types of clients to recognize themselves in her work. So instead of saying intuitive, she might actually say creative problem solving. This encapsulates the type of work that she is doing for her clients in a much more specific, narrowed down way versus innovative. Innovative leaves too much, it's too broad, and it doesn't really paint a clear picture for her or her clients. If your clients have to do mental gymnastics to figure out what it is that you do and what you stand for, they're less likely to stick around. Clarity builds trust, and your values are the clearest way to start. In the show notes below, you are going to find today's homework. I am challenging you to identify, uncover, and get clear on what your top 5 brand values are. You're going to use your why this, why now reflections that you did last week to guide your values. You're going to use those to check, are they consistent? How are they supporting one another? Here's an example for you to consider as you are working on identifying your core brand values. Let's say you decide to use the word playful. The energy of playfulness would be seen and felt throughout your entire business, through the photos, through your messaging, through your offers, through the process that you take your clients on. Every part of it is going to have some imbued value of playful energy. If you find that you've written a word and as you're thinking through what this would look like in your business and how this would show up in your writing, and you feel that there's this disconnect, it's likely that that is not the strongest value that you should be setting as your core brand values. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, why only 5 values? The reason we need to stay specific and we need to stay really tight on this is because the more values you have, the more diluted it becomes. Remember, this isn't just about strategy. This is about finding how you show up and who you show up for. If something resonated with you, let me know what it was in the comments below. And remember, take what resonates with you, leave what doesn't. Stay tuned for our next episode where we're going to get a little existential and we're going to be thinking about what it is that we are leaving behind. And as always, remember, you've got this dang thing.